Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. It's Peg, and today on Art Joy Sharing, which is the sister channel where I do live shows with Chelsea, we did an impromptu gel printing session for an hour and a half. And so I just want to give you some recap of what I was doing. I'd been playing with these new to me color shift paints. Now they're very translucent and iridescent, and so I was mixing them with some other products. And one of the products that I found that I really loved was the Distress Oxide inks. I was printing with papers that I had used for pickups and cleanups, and I had some papers that had the Distress Oxide on them for a background already. And when I put the color shift paint over the top of that Distress Oxide, I got some really fun results. This is my handmade mask, and I was just tearing down some of the papers. This has the, see the chalky finish of the Distress Oxide in the background, and then this is with the color shift with that flash in it over the top. And see how you get that flash in there. And then these are a few other pages that I tore down from my prints. So let's go on here, shall we? So I'm speeding this video up now. I'm using a hairdryer on the cool setting to set that paint on the gel plate. And this is printed on some silver paper. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but it turned out really pretty. And then I'm going to use some full spectrum glaze from this line of paints. And it stays really, really wet. I would say that you don't have to use very much of it. And if you're going to put it on, I would probably put it on last thing and let it sit overnight, because I set this aside to dry. I dried it with the hairdryer, and when I pulled the print, it was still wet. So just know that this particular one is a very wet medium. You might even try putting some powder or some mica into it. I don't know if it'll help absorb something. Baby powder, maybe. Yeah. So I pull out my other plate and keep playing because, you know, we're doing a live show and people want to see something, not just paint dry. So I'm pulling up some of the stuff off of the plate. I just put a little bit of a neutral tone down. Now I'm adding those Distress Oxide colors, and I'm going to blend those around and get something that looks very earthy, very grungy. You know, we are on Art Joy Sharing, which is our Facebook group, for the month of January doing grunge revival. So our journal pages and all the things that we've been doing have had a grungy feel to them. Doesn't mean it has to be a dark color. It just means that, you know, it's funky, grungy. So I'm printing that on some, what do they call that, masking paper that they use, the painters use, and then I'm going to try to pull a little bit more of that up with that other deli paper. Just clearing off my plate, getting it ready for the next layer, next application. Feeling to see if that's drying at all. No, it's still very wet. Remember, this is sped up about 8 times fast, and it's taken a long time to dry. So you will see this thing never dries the whole time we are in process doing these gel prints. So be aware of that if you're working with this particular product. So if you want to see this stuff in real time, go over to Art Joy Sharing and find the original video for today. Today is Saturday, the, what is it, 28th, 29th? 29th, wow. Saturday the 29th of January. And you'll be able to watch not only me create, but Chelsea create. But I'm just talking about, where that stuff is making the ridges and how it's really not on the black paper. It's really not showing up all that shimmery, which I thought it would because it says it's a full spectrum. Now, I don't know if it just is supposed to be a full spectrum resist. Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with these paints. So like I say, they're new to me, and I'm just having a play day, trying out different things. Now, when I was cleaning in my studio, and I would have been cleaning and organizing because we've got a class coming up next month, and it's all about collage, and I needed to organize some of my collage materials. So I ran into a box of these stencils. They're alphanumeric stencils, and I thought, well, I'll use those on my gel plate and get some grungy effects with those, and I did, and they're kind of fun. They're just chipboard, but you can use them over and over again, and then once you have paint on them, you can use those in your journal, add them to a page or something and make something fun with them. Now this is that yellow color flash, uh, color shift paint, and I'm just moving those pieces over to my other gel plate, clearing them out of the background of this print. And then I'm going to print over the top of something that already has some ink on it, getting more grungy effect. And there you have it. A really nice shimmery grunge, right? So I'm coming back to that piece of masking paper and just doing a ghost print. And they're talking about my pink shirt and getting paint on it. I'm saying, yeah, this is one of my paint shirts. When I work in a basement and it's cold here, I have to wear hoodies. So now I'm putting down a coat of regular paint. This is chestnut, I believe. No, cashew. Cashew. And I love this paint. It's a great color. And this is a new stencil I've just gotten from Joggles. And if you're interested in Joggles, I do have a link below. I do have an affiliate link, and Joggles always has a discount. If you follow that affiliate link, you can shop Joggles, and you will get a discount, and you will get some really cool stencils from Elizabeth St. Hilaire because she did these wonderful designs that I am just enthralled with. So I'm putting down some of that aqua color shift, and I'm going to pick it up with a piece of this deli that's already got some color on it. I'm layering, layering, layering. And there again, I'm getting that beautiful color shift, the shimmer, and that design from the stencil. I'm going to add a glaze, a color glaze. What do they call this stuff? Like a dragon glaze or something. Going to add a glaze over the top of that and pull it again because I've still got plenty of paint left. You can get 3 or 4 pulls off of one stenciling on gel plate. Now I flipped that wet paint over on this other gel plate. This is a smaller size from Ranger, and I'm adding some of those Distress Oxide inks. Really, really funky, grungy stuff on that plate because it's got those pieces, and I'm going to pull those up, and I'm going to show you those in a minute because they now have ink and paint and all kinds of stuff all over them. So they will make fun pieces to add to journal page. See? Aren't those fun? So I'm going to pull that. This is going to need yet another layer on it, but it's a nice base. It's a nice place to start from. And going to get another piece of tissue. And I've got the image from the stencil still on this plate. I'm going to come back with a little red color shift and some kind of a titanium white and off-white paint, mixing them together on my plate to pick up this print. And I really like the marbling on this print. I will show you a closer view of that in just a moment. And I'm printing it out on some rice paper. For my best paper for gel printing right now is rice paper. I love rice paper, but I still have a lot of the cheap dollar store tissue paper. You can see that on my right, and yeah, it works just as well. There's a lot of different papers that you can use for gel printing. I just like to make sure that it's thin enough that if I'm going to collage with it, it will be something that I can put down easily. So this is I think it's a Payne's gray. It's not a black, it's a gray tone. And I'm going to grab another one of my new stencils because, you know, I haven't gotten these wet yet. And oh, isn't that wonderful? So here's a piece that I previously printed on some deli paper. I'm just going to partially pick up that on a couple of different pieces that I printed today, and you know, just moving it around because I don't want the whole thing on just one print. I want to use that on several different prints. So you can see I'm getting about four or five prints out of that one paint and stencil application on the gel plate. There you go. So we're getting close to winding down to the end of the show. And I will finish up just a few last things here, but let me cut and show you some of the prints. What I like to do is come back to these prints and get them collage ready. So I will use my ruler, my trusty ruler here, and tear down those edges that don't have the paint or interest on it, so I can concentrate on the areas of the print that I want to use in my artwork. And this is easy enough to do, just tearing it and getting it ready to go into my stash of papers. So you can see this has the shimmer, the shift. This is the one that had the full spectrum on it, and it took so long to dry. But the odd thing is the black areas that were taking so long to dry did not get the shimmer that the rest of it did. And there was more of the medium in those areas, so that was really odd to me. Okay, so this one is another one of those that was done with not only color shift, but it has a lot of the distress ink and just regular paint on it, but you can see the subtle patterning, and isn't that going to be lovely for collage? Here's the brown craft type paper. You can see the shimmer and the grunge. This is the rosin paper. These are, I believe these are tissue papers. Yeah, they're very lightweight tissue papers. And these were just, you know, things that were mop-up papers that I was using just to clean up some of the stuff. So that's what all of this is. But all of these pieces are good for collage. They all work well for collage. So that's that. Here's that multi-layered stenciled piece. This is on, I believe that's on deli paper. This one is on deli paper. This one is on tissue paper. It's a lot lighter and it has a lot more crinkle to it. This is more deli paper. This one is the old wax deli paper, so you can see that is real cleanup stuff. And then this one is, this is a wax deli paper. But look at the shimmer, right? So that's what we did today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and do some gel printing. Use our hashtag ArtJoyIsSharing so that we can find what you're doing. Bye for now.